Hey guys, Luke from DLM here, and today we're going to be looking at the highest value items in Terraria. Now the value statistic we're using is the value given in coins to each weapon, item or accessory in the game. Now the value is 5 times the sell price, and that's the main way we're going to be getting the data for these items. So a item with a sell price of 10 gold would have a value of 50 gold. Now we're not going to go through this in a very straightforward answer because a lot of the items don't have straightforward values, but I will start with the celestial pillars. Looking at the 8 items dropped or crafted from the celestial pillars, we have the Daybreak, the Solar Eruption, the Phantasm, the Vortex Blaster, the Nebula Arcanum, the Nebula Blaze, the Stardust Dragon Staff, and the Stardust Cell Staff. So as you can see, they're all worth 50 gold. So that's how good it all makes sense. It's very consistent. Now unfortunately, this is the last time the items are consistent at all. Alright, so moving on to the Moonlord drops, which you'd assume are the most or the highest value items in Terraria. So we have the Meowmere and the Starwrath on 100 gold, which makes them the most expensive items so far. Then the SDMG on 75 gold, and the remaining 6 on 50 gold, which is just as much as the Celestial items, which doesn't seem to make all that sense. Unfortunately, it gets a bit more confusing as we go on. So, if we've set the benchmark for the most valuable items or the most valuable weapons at 100 gold, where else should we look? It makes sense that the dungeon chests have some pretty expensive stuff because there's only one per world. So if we look at them here, we can see the Piranha Gun is worth 2750 and the Rainbow Staff is worth 35, while the Scourge of the Corruptor, the Vampire Knives and the Staff of the Frost Hydra are all worth 100, making them up there with some of the most expensive items in the game. Alrighty, so far we have 5 items with a value of 100 gold. So how about we check out the Pumpkin and the Frost Moon, and we also check out the Martian Madness event to see if there's anything that matches. So I had a look at all the items that dropped from those 3 events, and the only one that had a value comparable to 100 was the Snowman Cannon. So everything else was worth either 50 or 10 gold in value. Snowman Cannon is the only one worth 100 in value. So moving on further, we actually have 2 more items. So the first one is the Terror Blade, which is also worth 100. And then we have one more, and some of you might think this is cheating, but I'm going to put it in there just because I find it interesting. We have the Magic Knife pre-nerf. So now its value is 25, but before the last update, or one of the last updates, it had a value of 100. And at that point in the game, it was the most expensive item in the game. It wasn't the best, that was the Excalibur in I believe 1.2, but it was the most expensive item by a large factor, both to sell and to reforge. Looking into all the items we've looked at so far, we have 9 that are worth 100 gold. We have the Meowmere and the Starwrath, which drop from the Moonlord, the Scourge of the Corruptor and the Vampire Knives, as well as the Staff of the Frozen Hydra, which come from dungeon chests, the Snowman Cannon, which comes from the Frost Moon, the Terror Blade, which is crafted, and the Magic Dagger pre-nerf, which was dropped from a Mimic. Now, these are all worth 100 gold, which means they sell for 20 gold. What we're going to do now is have a look at how your modifiers might change this value. So now we're going to be looking at how modifiers, so reforges, affect the value of weapons in Terraria. So the worst modifier, which is broken, reduces the value of an item by 68%. So if you had one of those super expensive items, like let's say the Meowmere, it would lose 68% of its value, so it would only be worth around 32 gold. On the other end of the spectrum, the most expensive reforges, or the ones that add the most value, are Legendary, Unreal and Mythical, which add 209%. So that means an item worth 1 platinum or 100 gold is now worth 3 platinum and almost 10 gold. So that's pretty damn impressive. Alright, so to put these 9 items of values into a little bit more perspective, so the Meowmere, the Star, the Scourge of the Corruptor, the Vampire Knives, the Staff of the Frozen Hydra, the Snowman's Cannon, the Terror Blade, and the Magic Dagger pre-nerf, the sell price of each of these is 61 gold and 8 silver, or thereabouts, and the reforge price is 1 platinum and 3 gold. There is no reason you'd probably ever want to reforge one of these items as they're all at their respective bests. best values, unless you wanted to put the Staff of the Frozen Hydra onto Ruthless, because as a summon, it's actually a bit better at Ruthless. But that's pretty much it. Unless I was lying to you, and unless there was one item which actually had a base value of double everything else. Aha, surprise, I was lying to you. There is one item called the Tonbogori, which is a 3DS exclusive item, which is crafted by making the Gungnir and a few hallowed bars and I think a few souls, mixing them together, and you get this. So it has a base value of 2 platinum, which is twice as much as anything else, which means when you have a legendary reforge, it's 6 platinum and 18 gold. Selling, you get a gold, you get a platinum and 23 gold, and reforging it at that incredibly high price is worth 2 platinum and 6 gold if you ever want to reforge that. So that actually is the most expensive one. I wish I could get some footage of it up online, but I can't do that without stealing someone else's video, so I don't want to do that because I don't have the 3DS version. But thank you so much for watching today. You don't have to count that last one if you don't want to, but that's all I have to say on this topic, and leave a comment if you want to see another video like this.